Thank you. Well, it's actually a pleasure to talk about this topic. About an idea that is growing and growing, and it was in my mind, and I'm so happy that I was able to implement it. But let's start from the beginning. And I want to take you to a journey. So I want to bring you for a couple minutes to my hometown. My hometown is in the north of Mexico, and it is Hermosillo. So as you can see, the drive to Mexico City, where the national entity of ISEC is, pretty far. Actually, we are the farthest local chapter from the center of Mexico. And I don't want to talk too much about my experience in ISEC, because some of you already know or may not. I'm just going to talk about the beginning, that it was when I wanted to go in exchange. And you know, many ISECers joined ISEC because of that reason. I was already 24. And I was finishing my university, and I was going to do my internship, and I found out ISEC. But I discovered that it was not a local chapter close to me. The closest was in Chihuahua, which is like 20 hours from Hermosillo, right? So it was really hard. So I, give up the idea of going in exchange, but I was wondering why we don't have this amazing opportunity in my university. I'm an engineer, and also, my university is public, so we didn't have those opportunities back in time. So I asked myself, why not? And I, asked my director about it. And I contacted ISEC Mexico, and I ended up going into this ride, 30 hours to a conference, and that was my first experience with ISEC. Yeah, it was very intense. So yeah, I did these 30 hours to go there, and I discovered about ISEC and so on. So what I want to talk to you about is when I was local president, because I ended up founding the local chapter, I was looking for opportunities to actually work for SDGs, because at that moment we were working as well for Global Volunteer Exchange. And I really wanted to talk about this because I know it's many questions, because we started doing Global Volunteers 10 years ago. We didn't do that 50 years ago. So to me it's really important, and I really enjoy explaining alumni-wise it's really meaningful. But at the end, I was looking for an opportunity to do this. And this is a place in Hermosillo, which is kind of like a favela, like, slums. So it's in the border of the city. My city is kind of like a desert. Same temperature that here. You can get like to 50 degrees, very normal, every day. So you could imagine people who live here in metal houses or like slums. So you could imagine how hard it is to be on the summer there. Actually, we are one of the states with less poverty, because we cannot afford to have extreme poverty. People die with the weather. So looking into that, I crashed into this organization who is actually it starts a kitchen in a church where someone wanted to help. A couple of volunteers, women, decide to put this kitchen together to give food for the kids of the community. So they start having one shift during the morning to give food. Then, the needs of the kids, okay, now for the lunch, now for the kids who go to school in the morning, and so they were trying to help. And for many of these kids, probably was the only meal they were going to have. Those kids maybe didn't go to school because their parents don't have money to afford it, because they needed to go and beg for money or clean, somehow get money to eat. But also, they were trying to convince them to go to school. But then, little things as, even in a public school, like, oh, bring a flip chart for the homework, costs money. So those women were trying to do as much as they could, and they were trying to make classrooms. She's an amazing woman, my friend Mariana, and she was trying to do everything, right? And when you are doing everything in an NGO, like whatever that seems simple for us, that we have experience in NGO, for them is impossible. So for 5 years, she was trying to raise money to be able to teach kids in a classroom and not in the kitchen. So this was the way she was doing this. For 5 years they were making events, funding, and so on. So when I met her and I say, hey, I'm gonna bring you volunteers from other countries for 6 weeks, it's gonna be amazing, the kids gonna love it. She was, well, Mariel, seems amazing, but at this moment my focus is to get the money to pay for the concrete, to make classrooms. That's my focus. And I was okay. Well, I guess ISA will not be the moment to bring volunteers, because she was like, it seems amazing, I probably could host them, but right now it's my focus. If they could come and help me to raise money to get the concrete, it would be amazing. But yeah, so the thing is like, my VP at that moment, and I were thinking like, well, I mean, we should be able to do something. Maybe it's not the focus of ISA, but it's the focus of us. So what we did is like, in our city as well, it's a big company named Cemex. Probably you know, it's a concrete company that produces concrete in Mexico. So we approached them, we asked them, okay, we have this project, this is school that we want to build, and so on. So yeah, we actually were able to go to the person who is in charge of these projects, and he explained us that, well, we actually do that. We do provide concrete for projects, but we need a big project. We need a project that proves by a civil engineer that what is the amount that you need, that you know what will be the long-term vision, and so on. So yeah, she said, I love it, but I mean, in order to give you a project, I will need that. And well, that costs money. But as any ISECer or any person who has a network, I took advantage of my network. Before joining ISEC, I was part of Rotary. Actually, as a Rotary. Rotary is like the youngest of Rotary. So she's my friend Dulce, and she's an architect. So I was, Dulce, let's have a talk. And I told her about the project. Of course, because she shared the same values, she was like, yes, I'm in. Well, now we need a civil engineer, so she contacted a civil engineer. So in 3 weeks, we were able to come up with this project at Second request, we present the project. So as you see, putting together many abilities, couple of hours, we actually were able to get the 1,000 tons of concrete that the school needed to build the schools. And maybe a year later, I was able to bring my volunteers to teach in those classrooms. And yes, that's how we actually make impact, putting together a couple of people, and I feel very good. Honestly, yeah, we actually bring 2 volunteers. I believe this is banners of my local chapter, this little NGO. But I feel really great that we were able to don't look back. Don't be like, oh, you cannot work with me at this moment, okay, I'm going away. Tell me when you have the class. No, we were able to help with just few hours. In 1 month, we were able to change something that she was working for 5 years. And I'm just gonna move back to actually 1 year ago when I was finishing my experience. I don't want to talk about what I did in ISEC and anything. I just want to tell you that I spent 5 years in ISEC without doing exchange. So at the end of my experience last year becoming alumnus, I actually got granted for PwC Found. I don't know if you're aware of this fund, but it's actually to do Youth for Global Goals. And they give us the opportunity to 10 ex-ISECers being alumnus to go in exchange. So I was one of the lucky ones that I got the grant, 1,000 euros to go in exchange. It helped me to pay my ticket, literally even, because I decided to go really far. And guess which country I chose? I actually didn't choose the country, I chose the project. I chose Egypt. So a year ago I was in Egypt because I wanted to work in a project that I liked, because I was working for 1 year as the ambassador of the Youth for Global Goals in Americas. So to me was, if I'm going to go in exchange, I want to do it for the project. So I put 10 projects without knowing the country, and I chose the one that was empowering refugees, working for an SDG that I really, really deeply support, which is reducing inequality. So I ended up in Cairo. In a local committee, it was an expansion. So everybody was, why you choose this local chapter? I was like, well, I chose because of the project. And now I want to share with you how was this experience. Because as I say, I was part of this group of 10 volunteers around the world. And actually, we became very famous because we were part of the Youth for Global Goals series. So I want to share with you my series that ISEC made actually for me and for the project.
I have heard and read a lot about the issues that other countries are facing. Despite my concern and interest, I felt like they were too far away to affect me or for me to do something about it. I was wrong. As soon as I arrived, there was a lot of emotion mix. I realized that this was not going to be an easy experience. I was by myself, facing my own personal journey. I chose to wait and form my own opinion, and I started the journey with arms wide open. Egypt was a challenge in so many ways. Being immersed in a completely different place, food, traditions, culture, not speaking the language can make you feel defensive, overwhelmed, and disconnected. At the same time, I met a lot of people that showed me so much support and hospitality. When I first find out about what kind of challenge the refugees in Africa have to deal with, I feel powerless. I decided to learn more about it and to find a way to contribute. I was part of the project Empowering Refugees, focused on contributing to Sustainable Development Goal number 10, reducing inequalities. Over the course of the weeks that I spent in Cairo, I worked with children that came from different countries, affected by civil war, forcing their families to seek for help abroad. From our first day of work, my teammate and I fell in love with the kids. They were kind and enthusiastic. Our main role was to support the children by teaching them a new language, so they could have better opportunities to access to education. However, day by day we realized that we needed to do much more than basic language training, but also offer emotional support and to transform their class into a happy space. By putting together a group of volunteers that were willing to support us, we managed to adapt the facilities to make them safer and more child-friendly. Local and international volunteers came together for a single purpose, making the lives of the people in the center a tiny bit better. When we finished, neither the children nor the teachers could believe what we have accomplished. Saying goodbye was really hard. There are a few things you can do in 6 weeks, but in the end, small actions is what is needed if we want to bring a change into our society. Being a global volunteer means that we're taking a step forward towards what the world needs. We are working together for a bigger purpose. I learned to be grateful, to be hopeful in times of uncertainty, to be happy for the little things, and to always stay humble. They taught me that generosity can exist even when you don't have a lot. Egypt is full of magical places, breathtaking views, caring people, and very united community. In the end, all I can hope for is that I can carry all these learnings with me and to continue to work for the purpose of making this world a better place. My name is Mariel Rivera, and I'm working for Sustainable Development Goals. What are you doing about it?
Well, this is just one little story of like many volunteers, thousands of volunteers that actually we mobilize. We use mobilize mindset. That's why I'm really proud of Youth for Global Goals. Of course, it's something new. Like we signed the agreement with the United Nations to activate youth only a few years ago. But I was one of the lucky ones to be part of that generation. And of course, not all of our volunteer experience maybe had the same meaning or impact. In the end, like what I feel when I was here, it was not that I was not happy every day, actually not. When I was going with the refugees, I really feel, when you get trained, well, when you are with someone who is being affected for so many things and they become violent because someone was violent with them, and you work with these kids, you end up trained. I was not happy every day when I was leaving the refugee place. But I do realize that it opened my eyes. So that's what I want to show to you that actually going as a volunteer or working in volunteer, not with ISE, but in any occasion, of course, open our eyes. But it's not about only opening our eyes, but doing something about it. So that's why I'm very proud to present my social project, which is named Social Disruptors. So this is an initiative that actually reminds me like the idea of putting together in 1 month for professionals who could give their skills to support a project. Because when I was doing this, I was already alumni, so many of my friends were like, oh my god, it's so cool, because yeah, ISIC is really good at doing social media. That video, I didn't make it, ISIC made it. So they're very good, and we actually were like, trending topic and so on, and a lot of people wanted to go in exchange, but my friends who were already 30 or 35, but I want to do something. Well, even if they were under 30, they maybe didn't have 6 weeks. But they really wanted to contribute. And I really feel that when I left Egypt, I didn't do enough for the refugee place. So I try to make this project to give the opportunity to others to volunteer. I don't know if you have ever volunteered, but sometimes when you volunteer in little projects, you feel that you harm. You feel that you don't really help. When you go and you paint a school, yeah, it makes you feel good to yourself. But in that, honestly, maybe doesn't give a solution for the long-term vision of the project or the meaning of the need. So that's why, to me, it's like if we can put together professionals who can donate time, and that's how the whole idea starts, which is we have millions of projects out there that really have the potential to change the reality where we live. Social projects, NGOs, local initiatives in school, like a school that wants to build a lab for engineers to learn to be able to accomplish to work in other companies, to learn new skills. So there is many projects out there. So my idea is as well, I know that I have a big network of professionals who really want to support. How can I cross this gap and break this gap between other countries and as well between the needs? So as you remember, my friend Mariana, when I met her, she didn't even have an idea of how she could get this concrete. She needed an outsider to actually look at the problem and try to find the possible solutions outside of the reality she was in. So the idea of social disruptor is that what we do in the team is where we break up. We take all a vision from outside. We look at their business model, their canvas, because even if you're an NGO, you should have a business model. So you look at it and you see what is the needs. When you know the needs, then you get the contacts and the people who want to donate money and time, or only time, and support the project. So what it's about, it's about putting time of volunteers around the world that are willing to put their skills per month, talking about 5 hours per month, maybe 3 hours per month, or maybe a specific project that will be done in 1 month. We are actually as well giving trainings to NGOs and social projects to be able to access to these kind of grants, like the one that we talked about Google grants. And one of the NGOs that I'm supporting, I'm very happy, is Alumni, which is the NGO that I did my project last year. Because it's not about just looking back and you see, it doesn't make me proud to have this video if I'm really not making a change. So the idea is to keep supporting them to be able to get more grants and funds to actually be sustainable and to have permanent workers there. As well, Dalia is not here, but Serla is an NGO that an alumnus has in Mexico, and I'm supporting her to be able to donate more scholarship for kids with disabilities to get these therapies. And there is many NGOs out there. So my invitation is for you to become a social disruptor and maybe donate some of your time to help one of the projects that are in the platform. Thank you.